Hey everybody, this is Ben from T3 bringing you the finals match from the San Rafael Regionals in Northern California a little bit earlier this year. On the left we have Noah playing Replicating Perfection, and on the right we have Wes playing his Kate deck. And it looks like Noah has a really good hand right off the bat here. See, a hedge fund toll booth looks like a Sarugi. I might think that might be a Cortex lock there, and of course, starting off with hedge fund and ice ice. Looks like that's an enigma that he's trying to figure out there. On the other side here, Wes, I can't quite see what's in. Oh no, I saw a clone chip, and I think that was a supplier. And with his first click, that sure gamble is going to be huge. So just to give you guys a little bit of background here, this is after about 12 hours in Netrunner, the very end of the day. We've actually had to relocate to the venue's other location just to so they could start to close up. So it's getting late. There's a small crowd around, and we're here to watch the final match. And Wes getting that supplier out right away and really maximizing on Kate's ability with Dyson Memchip plus the supplier to reduce that cost. And that Underworld's going to be a huge bump for his economy. And this deck that Wes is running on the right is a deck that I actually saw a number of times throughout the day. This supplier out of Kate, it just combos so well with her ability. The supplier can host hardware or programs, hardware or resources, and hardware would get reduced even further with Kate's ability too. So there's some really, really nice synergy here, and especially with Dyson M-Chip and Underworld contacts, Wes is going to be able to get his economy set up for really no or little money down, aside from that supplier that's just going to keep pumping out bucks for him. And Noah's set up really fast there, icing up the two centrals that matter, HQ and R&D, and then having that Sundew, trying to secure his economy as well with the daily business show. Going to be able to filter some draws, and getting that Sundew online is going to be a pretty big step here in order to keep his economy going for the long term. And of course, icing that Sundew up. You gotta protect the money, especially early game, and especially when you have an unprotected archives. So I'm sure once Noah finds a crick and can throw that crick over archives, it'll be a little bit different. Wes could spend a bunch of money to get through the crick, or Noah can just keep replaying the same old Sundew. And Wes is set up pretty well. I think here, if Wes can blow up that daily business show and the Jackson, the Astrolabe is going to get a lot of value, just because RP is going to keep throwing out those servers with mental health clinics and pad campaigns, and probably more Jacksons and daily business shows. Just keep that card draw. Yep, and there it is. Believe that was actually one of the mental health clinics that Noah has, and I see a couple of other agendas too, NAPD and Nisei and an Ash. So he has the cards, but Noah hasn't really drawn a whole lot of ice since that opening. Oh, he actually had 3 agendas. I think he just pitched a Future Perfect. But Noah also has the NAPD and the Nisei in his hand, so game is there, but looks like Wes doesn't really have any way to put pressure on Noah, so I don't see any tutors or anything in Wes's hand either, so it's going to be a little bit of a dig in order to go find it. But he is getting, Wes is getting all of his utility there. R&D interface, risky move against RP, but I haven't really seen a lot of traps out of RP too much in recent times, and definitely not at this tournament. And even enhanced login protocol kind of fell out of favor a little bit, at least as of the time of this tournament, which is a huge play. I personally feel that enhanced login protocol is one of the stronger cards available to RP, and especially at 2 influence, it's I would say just about as good as a toll booth, especially when combined with RP's inherent ability.
You're just sitting there with it,
So Wes ran the archives to force the Jackson. I think that was the Future Perfect. And yeah, there's the mental health clinic gaining money. Wes can enjoy his extra hand size for, I'm sure, a short period of time. I don't think that mental health clinic is going to be too long for this world, but you never know. And more card draw. Wes is getting huge value out of that Astrolabe. and that supplier. I think that's two, four, six credits he saved from the supplier. Not to mention the extra extra money saved with Kate's ability on the Dyson and the R&D interface. But if you account for Kate's ability for all of the cards, then uh, Wes is looking at 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 credit discount in his board state, which is huge. That's tons of value between his ID and the supplier. I'm sure Wes runs 3 of those and just to make sure he finds it. Only 2 influence. It seems to be worthwhile. And we finally see a barrier breaker, something coming out, but Noah responds with install advance. So I believe that was a Nisei, and I think that was a Caprice and Ash in that server. So it's going to be pretty hard for Wes to get in at this point. I guess he could always try, but he has no way to tutor for another breaker. Even and I'm sure that's a Sentry. So pretty much anything would keep Wes out. Plus the Caprice and Ash, Wes is in no position to really force that. But he does have the data folding and Underworld online and plenty of memory available, 5 available MU. So those are both going to keep firing for quite some time. And Wes is going to dig here. I can't really see. Wes holds his hands close to the chest, so I can't make out too much. Alright, Wes hard playing Underworld Contacts in the daily cast, try and get his economy going for the foreseeable future. And Noah is just going to pump out that Nisei, which is a scary position here, especially since Noah has that remote set up. I'm not sure what the ice is. It could be the toll booth, but I think that got put over R&D. But with the Caprice and the Ash in that server, it's super safe, and with the Nisei. So even if Wes does get the money to plow through the Ash, Noah has a side game at his disposal, and then can just end the run afterwards anyway. So it's a lot of taxing clicks. But Wes has the Mimic online, Mimic and Corroder. He's got to start putting pressure at this point on Noah. The code gate, there aren't really any code gates that are going to hurt him too much. The Cortex lock play would be bad, or would be great for Noah, bad for Wes. But I think that's a risk that he has to take. And with the self-modifying code online, anything that is really bad, Wes can just go get. And I think, yep, and with the clone chip, there really isn't anything else to fear here. But Wes just making a bunch of money there. I think that was 5 credits from his drip economy between the daily cast and the data folding and Underworld. So super good, especially when there hasn't been a lot invested to get it all online. This economy, I mentioned it a little bit before, I saw a lot in the regional, and it's really, really scary once it gets set up, and it's actually pretty quick for the most part. You've seen that here. It's only been like 4 or 5 turns, maybe a little bit more, but Noah's deck is responding just as fast, getting that Nisei scored and that remote online. Even though there isn't a lot of ice, RP kind of has that ability where the runner needs to get everything out and spend a bunch of clicks in order to run on anything. So the stim hack play is huge. As you can see, Wes has circulated it, cycled it a little bit, self-modifying and clone chipping the rest of his rig to completion. Now we know it's Zoo, which is Toll Booth is not what Wes wants to see for that type of rig. It's going to take a lot of data sucker tokens to make that cheap, and make that cheap once. But again, Wes really getting value out of everything in his deck. I don't think he's paid. I think he's saved more money than he has paid in this game, just by being willing to take brain damage and having a slightly offset turn with the supplier. And the Astrolabe lost the brain damage there isn't really a big deal, or really isn't a big deal at all. Uh, Obviously, Wes has that out, so not a problem. But the scoring remote is. So even though West doesn't have a lot of money, and that toll booth did keep him out, I think that was the right play there. Let that end the run, or else it's just cost too much. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure Wes is just giving Noah this agenda. He's probably anticipating that it is not another Nisei, which it isn't. It's a NAPD. It did see it in Noah's hand when it went down. So the right play here, definitely take out RP's economy, especially when they're going to be a little bit closer to broke than they have been for the rest of the game. I feel like that's probably another mental health clinic or a Jackson off in the far remote at the top. But even still, taking the Sundew online is going to do wonders uh, for Wes here. Although he is taking a stab at it, forcing Noah to at least res something or use Caprice. Um, it's information. Information is really helpful to have here, even if it's just finding out for sure that there's a Caprice. That forces 4 credits on Noah's side,
No res, no res, all res.
and just letting him right through into the ash. So only 3 link and or $3 available for that trace. Ash is gonna fire away, and unfortunately, Wes can't even trash it.
Freeform Netrunner.
And these two are really good friends. Wes and Noah, both from NorCal, native NorCal players, and very active in the meta. They actually play tested pretty significantly leading up to the regional. And if any of you have looked at the Gen Con results, Noah on the left was actually seeded number 1 at the end of Gen Con's, I don't even know, 8 rounds or something crazy. So Wes was another top 8 player. So it's a really good finals match we have here. Noah's just secured that economy a little bit more with pad campaigns and mental health clinics. It's always nice to see friends playing each other like this. It's a super relaxed game. Everyone's having fun at this point, and there's been a lot of banter. So fun game to watch. A lot of playful taunting and boasting and egging each other on to run into the server. Even though they each know the other's decks, it's a lot of fun.
After your mana prayer?
Yeah.
Cool.
And Noah's getting rid of
Pad, mental health, and what?
that Jackson and opening the scoring server up. He's
I can just do it.
probably Noah did mandatory draw,
It's just whoever
so
trashes more or reses.
he's probably gonna ice up,
Yeah.
maybe install another upgrade. Wants to prepare. I'm sure Noah just wants to score out the future perfect and not score 2 more agendas. And I'm pretty sure Noah still has a future perfect in his hand. So just trying to make sure that Wes won't have the money and the clicks, of course, to get in. Because at this point, that's a big advantage of RP, especially when it gets to late game. Kind of crunch time. Wes needs to get a lot of things done in order to get in cheaply or be able to get in at all. And with the RP ability that Noah has to run, or excuse me, with the RP ability that Wes has to run on the central and then run on the remote and the Caprice and the Nisei, there just isn't enough time, and it's generally how these RP games go. If RP can keep afloat and keep money and stay ahead early game, they tend to be able to win out the war of attrition.
Nope, she came back.
And that supplier just making a huge impact on the right side here with I think pretty much every piece of hardware and most of the resources has been put out through the supplier. Whatever you need, the supplier's got it. Need some podcasts, go for it. R&D interfaces, it's got all you need. And I think this is the first. Yep, awesome. So the first HQ access from West gets him an NAPD, and he has the money, so it's not a huge deal. But here's that install advance play.
All right. 2 cards.
So this could be the game here. Getting cards, money. I think it's something crazy. Another 5 credits. I actually think West got 7 credits last turn from his daily casts in that drip economy. So this is a really strong. So 5 credits on 2 cards with the Earthrise. It's a pretty good clickless drip for pretty much anybody. Not to mention when it's almost free or basically free, if not with the supplier. Can't quite see what is in either of the player's hand, but I'm pretty sure there's at least one more agenda in Noah's hand. He's only had that 1 Jackson and 2 Jacksons. I see 2 up there. And Wes really hasn't had a lot of HQ accesses. I think that might be the problem here. Wes didn't. He spent so much time developing the state that he wasn't able to get the accesses on HQ. R&D was pretty well locked up. Oh. So that HQ access hitting the Nisei. So this could be it. If Wes can get into the remote. All right, going for it. And it's on to the side game. So if Noah wins the side game, this is it. Assuming that is the future perfect, but I'm pretty sure
You got 6 total.
Yeah.
it is. Let's see. Both players thinking hard. This is click 3 for the game. Noah wins it with the 1 credit to Wes's 0. And they they shake. It's
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
so yep, that's it. Wes knows it, and he's just trying to see where his help were, or what he had left.
And we built this deck, and we both played.
And they're bantering a little bit afterwards and talking about it. And much to the crowd, they were trying to get an idea of what was going on here. And there it is. All right, so there's the future perfect. Both players knew it, so it's not a big deal. But still a tight game. It looks like Noah had another agenda in his hand, so he just needed to get in. Or no, he didn't have the agenda. So Wes sniped the 1 Nisei and needed to get into the future perfect. But just that side game, man, it's good. So that's it. That was a great way to end the regionals in Northern California. Everyone had a great time. I do have more videos coming. Keep an eye out. Thank you for watching. Catch you later, guys.
I'm so happy to play this with you.
Oh, we both get that?
Eddie Kim, man.
Oh. This is what we play next time.
Oh, totally. Edward Gagarin?
Yeah.
I was this close.
Kim and Gag?
Yeah, it was luck of side game. That couldn't have
cool.
gone this is the coolest fucking thing ever. Playing this with you.
I'm not upset. Are you okay with me just talking a bunch?
No, either you okay with me fucking ignoring you.
That's 6 words the whole game.
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna.
When I got you to crack the full smile, I was like, oh.
No, dude, I was having a great time.